I was reading the story about this missionary in 2006. She's a missionary in Papua New Guinea. She works for Wycliffe Ministries. They do Bible translations. And so she has been working for years down in Papua New Guinea, translating the Bible from English into their language. And in 2006, she fell ill with a tropical disease. They thought it was dengue fever, which dengue fever, what it does, it causes high fevers, rash, joint and muscle pain. It can cause neurological symptoms, and that's what happened to her. It created these heavy neurological symptoms where she couldn't read, she couldn't focus, she was in constant pain, and so she could no longer do her job translating. And the doctors down in Papua New Guinea, I mean, they tried everything they could to try to get her better, and it just wasn't happening. And so in 2007, they medically evacuate her back to the United States. She's in Colorado Springs. And for the next several months, doctors in the United States are trying to help her to get well, and there's nothing they can do to help her. And so she lives every single day in pain. And the struggle with that is, as somebody lives in chronic pain like that a lot, especially somebody who comes from the mission field where you're like, God's got to be protective over me. She's now laying in her bed, dark, under despair, depression.
Sure.
Even started questioning, not that God exists, but questioning why God would allow her to go through something like this. And so the people in her local church, they started these prayer groups, 10, 20 people. Every single week they would meet, and they would just started praying for healing for her. And it didn't come immediately. One night they gathered the elders in her home. Her pain started to get really bad. And so they gathered the elders into her home, and they anointed her with oil, and they laid hands on her. They didn't just start praying for healing. They actually started praying that God would allow her to return to the mission field to complete her work. And as they began to pray over her, she says in her testimony that there's this warming sensation that came through her body. The pain in her joints started to loosen up a little bit. And she had a clarity of her mind she hadn't had in a long time. By week's end, all of her symptoms were gone. She walked into the doctor's office to get tested. They found no evidence of the illness in her body anymore. And the doctor said, this is not medicine. This is something different. Now, to call it a miracle would be too much for them, but they at least recognized it was something outside of medicine that had happened. The following year, she was able to return back to Papua New Guinea and continued her work. Now, I can hear a story like that. I don't know why when I hear a story like that, my heart goes, I can believe that.